What's out there? What creates the shadows in the corners or the creatures of the dark? Who are those on the other side? What do they have to say? This is the Gateway Podcast. This is not your normal style of paranormal talk radio. Brought to you live from United Public Radio.
You're listening to UFO Undercover with your host, Joe Montaldo, right here on the Paranormal Radio Network.
Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Sunday night edition of Into the Night with me, your host, Sean Kelly. Joe Fox, good Sunday evening to you, too, and good evening to you, Miss Heidi. Much love and light, too, to you, too. That sounded good. I want to thank UPRN Talk Radio 105.3 Mississippi, 107.7 New Orleans, for allowing me to give you an hour tonight on Sunday night. It's 8:10 to 9:10 p.m. on UPRN Talk Radio. I'm also on Tuesday nights, 8:10 to 9:10 p.m. on the same platform here. So how's everybody doing? Did they have a lovely week? Did they? I did, I think. Had some tests done, so, and they weren't good. So I have to go and schedule a PET scan. Is that Saturday night too on the chat? Yes, ma'am, too. Thank you for reminding me. I'm also on the chat, and the chat's great on Saturday night. It's from 8 to 10. And it's me, Joe, Jay, and Michael. And we just sit around and talk. And we argue amongst each other, and it's a lot of fun. So if you're not doing nothing on a Saturday night, come on over and sit down, listen. If you want to be a guest on that show, you're more than welcome to come on, and you can chat with us. And that goes for me too. Whoever wants to be a guest on my show, please feel free. Thank you very much, Heidi. I do enjoy them too. Thank you. If anybody wants to come on my show and be a guest, feel free, send me a message, and we'll get you on. And we can talk about anything that you want to talk about, already had one Michelle on, and she did a very good job. She shared her paranormal experiences where she lives, and it turned out really great. So if you want to become a guest on my show, you are more than welcome. Tonight, though, it's been not weighing on my mind, but I've been thinking about the past a lot. And hey, Squatch Man, good to see you, brother. Good to see you, my friend. Thank you for popping in. And back in 2012, we'll get you here, Heidi. We'll get you here. You're definitely number one on my list. And besides, the Kansas City Chiefs are winning too. So, yeah, I don't know. But I'm not going to go there tonight. But back in 2012, I was approached by Marty Patterson, and he's a paranormal investigator, and he came up to me and he said to me, he said, Sean, would you like to do a paranormal TV show? And I said, sure. Yeah, I would love to. And so me and him over a cup of coffee, we sat and we talked about it. And and I guess we put a list together on what we needed to do. Now, granted, when we filmed this, when we first started this raw fare, we didn't have. Heidi says, "Thank you, Sean. You're the sweetest." 1621 live score pen. Thank you, dear. Just tell me when Buffalo takes the lead. I'd be happy. So we sat down and we took a list on what we needed to do. I mean, Marty, he was a good editor. I mean, that's what he did for a living. He would film things and edit them. So he had the editing down part. But we really wanted to come out with the idea where, at that time, all the ghost shows were really big and popular. But we wanted to come out with one to where it was real, a real investigation, nothing what you saw on TV. And we put our heads together, okay, and we came up with the idea. But see, I've been on some paranormal shows to where, you had to listen to the producers on there. And basically, they told you what to say and what to do. And it kind of like disappointed me in that. And I mean, these were major TV shows too. And if it was like, I would watch them and I'd just like shake my head. I'm just like, no, that's not how it works. You don't get evidence all the time. And I told Marty, I sat down with him and I said to him, I said, we're going to do this. Yes. But what I want from it is to get some young adults between the ages of 18 and 22 who have never did a paranormal investigation. They watched them on TV, but they never actually did an investigation. Heidi says it's all their narrative at the end of the day. Richie was talking about this too. Yes. And so I told Marty, I said, well, let's put an ad in a newspaper and let's see who we come up with. And so we did. We put an ad in the city paper here in Pittsburgh. And we came up with 8 people. I think it was 4 guys and 4 women. They had never, ever, ever investigated. Most of them were people who were trying to get into the TV situation. Hey, Michael Anthony, good day, sir. Good to see you, my friend. And so we put them. So we all ate at the King's Restaurant over there in Neville Island, and we interviewed each one of them. And I had strict rules for these people. I really did. I had strict rules for them. I was like, I told them straight out, if you're going to be on this show, you're not going to do no acting because like 5 or 6 of them were actors. And I told them, I said, no acting. I just want you to be your normal self. And if I see you acting or going overboard on this situation, then you're gone. And that was really big for me Because what? Hey, Casey, good to see you. Good to see you, brother. Because mine and Marty's idea was to get out there to the public what an actual paranormal investigation was like. So we took these 8 kids, young adults, and we trained them. Well, we did. I hate the word train, but we kind of showed them the ropes a little bit on the investigating part. And it was amazing. Okay. I remember the first investigation we took them to. It was down in Old Economy. It was an old village down there around Ambridge, PA. Old Economy. And our first show that we filmed down there, I mean, that was a long, like 6-hour investigation. Hello, Mr. Roper. Good to see you, sir. And that was a long investigation. And I mean, I have 8 people, along with Marty, that had never done an investigation before. And we just told them straight out, we will film you, but I want you to go. Here's the equipment. And we'll split up into groups. Marty will take one group, I'll take the other group. And we filmed them. But in the meantime, as we were filming them, they had no clue. Before we even went down to Old Economy, we actually, would bring them into the studio where Marty was at. And we sit there and we show them the equipment we were going to use, how to use the equipment. And we worked with them for a month before we actually started shooting. Not guns, but the show. And so we were ready to go. And all we had, ladies and gentlemen, me and Marty, were 2 cameras. They were Sony DSL cameras, video cameras. That's all we had. And the only thing that we had for equipment, hey, Michelle, good to see you, hon. And all we had for so-called ghost equipment at the time was just a K2 meter, a millimeter, and that was it. We didn't have all those fancy schmancy equipments out there. I wanted to start off at the basics of this. I wanted to start, with very little equipment. People who don't know what they wanted to never investigate it. And we took them out to Old Economy and we filmed them. That was our very first show. It was like a 6-hour investigation, which we had to take 6 hours of film, put it down to 53 minutes. Because that's all we were allowed. Now, the TV station that we filmed our shows on, WPMY, my Pittsburgh TV, we had to pay for the hour, okay? And I'm not going to tell you how much it was. But it was pretty spendy at the time, back in 2012. But we took these kids, and they did great. They really did. They were totally serious about doing this investigation. And none of them act. None of them did no acting. They just went and we followed them. And sure, did we get evidence? Yes, we did. Okay. But the cool thing about the evidence that we caught it on live. Hey, Cindy Mitch, good to see you. Much love to you too, huh? But the evidence we caught, it is just the K2 going off, the millimeter going off. But we caught it on camera. And when you would watch the show and just see the excitement in ladies and the gents who were in the TV series, their eyes were wide open. Their eyes were wide open, and they were just like, "Wow, hey Sam, good to see you, hon. Nice to see you. Thank you for popping in." Heidi says, "Good thing they weren't actors. I think it's natural. It's real." Yes, yes, Heidi, you are correct. It was natural and real, and I tell you what, it really scared the crap out of some of them. But for them to go to different places down there and get some evidence on TV, it was great. And what we did after each show, when we were done filming for the night, we would all sit around and would film it, and we would talk about everybody's experiences. And let's just say it was like a real, I'm going to say eye-opening, but also me and Marty could actually see that, they're ready. They're ready to go. And so we put it on My Pittsburgh TV. I think we had about 1.5 million people watch that. And I'm not talking numbers. To me, it was impressive on that, but because it was the first show, it was on My Pittsburgh TV, which wasn't the main station at the time. But we also got the Nielsen ratings every Monday or Tuesday. The show was called Raw Fear, RAWFEAR. And I found some videos, like today before the show, I'd go on my computer, and I know I downloaded at least 11 episodes. And I'm still trying to find them. And so hopefully if I could find them before Tuesday, I'm going to put a show up here for my Tuesday night show. And just watch the youngins. Watch the youngins. But it was great. It was a really, really good experience. And we did this for 13 episodes. We went to what the hell, Mayview. Is it Mayview? Yeah, Mayview. And we did, what was crazy about Mayview was we were there, we were investigating, but we didn't get no evidence. We didn't. It was one of those investigations that we didn't even get a blip off the K2 meter. And we were in the cemetery there, and we couldn't get nothing at all. But the building that Marty was in, that was haunted. In fact, I'll tell you what, that's how we actually did the interview with the people, because at night his studio was in this dark building, and there was no lights on. The only lights that came in was from the street lights that was in front of the building. And so we had them walk them. We made them walk down by themselves all the way down the corridor, pitch black, and the building was haunted. It's absolutely haunted. But we just wanted to see how they reacted. And I guess they did pretty good, because none of them freaked out. But like I was getting back to Navy, is it Navy? I forget which one it is. But like my memory's not doing good. So one down there on 65, they tore it down. If anybody's from Pittsburgh, if you can help me out, I'd help. That would be nice. But we went into their cemetery. It was a place where like Trans Allegheny Asylum, okay, where they brought people and they did lobotomies on them, which is sad. Oh my God, it's so sad. But while we were there, it was crazy because we all got together, every one of us. We sat down, we talked about it. Now, think about all the pain and suffering that those people went through that were actually there. Okay. The patients and how many died, and they died terrible deaths down there. Um, and I do believe they did lobotomies. They did lobotomies. So we were sitting around talking about it, and this might sound crazy. I'd like to get everybody's opinion on this one. If they do a lobotomy on you and you die, does your spirit have a brain? You know what I mean? Can you can the spirit who had a lobotomy done, okay, can it tell the difference from right and wrong? It is sad, Sam. It's pretty sad. But we did the show and we filmed it, and we didn't get no evidence. Marty turned around and looked at me and he said, "Well, what do you want to do?" I said, "We're going to put this on TV." And he said, "Why do you want to put this on TV?" And I told him, I said straight out, you know, just to show people who watch our show, who watch other paranormal shows, that there are times you go on investigations and you don't get no evidence. And I want to put that out there. And it worked. We didn't get nothing. And yes, the kids were disappointed. They were. And they were kind of surprised too, because it's a hotbed for spirit activity down there. It really is. But it just seemed that night um, the spirits didn't want to come out. It would have been nice to get a blip on the K2, but we didn't. Nothing happened. Not even in the building where his studio is, because we did it, after we didn't get nothing from the cemetery, we actually went into the building and we were filming there and we weren't getting nothing. Jack Schmack. Was it disappointing? Yes, it was very disappointing. But it taught the young adults. Hey, Dee, good to see you, hon. And the kids were disappointed, but, I sat down and I talked to them. I said, well, that helps teach them authenticity. It does, Sam. It does. But they were cool with it. And I said, not all investigations are going to get evidence. And you know what, dude? It worked. A lot of people sent me messages on Facebook after that show, and they asked me, well, you guys didn't get anything. Why'd you put it up? And I simply told them, I said, because that's a real investigation. There's no one pulling strings. There's no one making weird noises in the background. No one making shadow figures. But that was the whole point behind Raw Fear. And it, like I said, it worked. But at all the other ones, the other, 10 of them or 11 of them, we always got something. I don't really want to get more into the investigations. I just want to. It's raw fear. It's raw fear, hon. I just wanted I just lost my train of thought. Ain't that crazy? I just wanted to talk about taking 8 young adults who have never investigated before, who were more interested at trying to get put on TV as an actor. But after the last episode, Cindy Mitch says, I think spirits choose how they want to show themselves. So it could show before mind loss or lobotomy. Ah, I like that. Cindy Mitch says, I think spirits choose how they want to show themselves. So it could show before mind loss or. Hey, Sebastian, good to see you, sir. Everything's doing great down here in Pittsburgh. It's good to see you pop into the room. But taking people who never investigated before and just doing 12 weeks, 12 shootings, TV shows. By the 13th one, I could put, well, thank you, Heidi. I could put those young adults up against taps. I could put them up against the mouth of New Orleans. Any of those paranormal shows that were going on at the time, and they would kick their ass. And I'm not saying that out of being egotistical, and I'm not saying that because it was my show, mine and Marty's show. I'm just saying we didn't have to be there, me or Marty, and giving the camera to one of them, and they would do the investigation. They were good. D says, how did their reactions change over time? Their reactions were like, wow, good. Heidi says, good question. Their reactions were incredible. I mean, really. At the beginning of the series, some of them were in doubt. But as time went on, you could see that instead of me and Marty helping them through, the investigations. Hey, Marketti, good to see you. With that, you could just tell that they were getting more knowledgeable about the paranormal field. They were getting more knowledgeable about how to use their abilities to communicate with spirit. It wasn't all about the equipment. And like I told you guys before, at the beginning, the equipment that we used was old. We didn't have nothing. Just a millimeter and the K2 meter. And someone used an EVP. That's all we did. But by the middle of the season, they were really getting into it. They did the research on the places that they were going. They would sit around and talk amongst themselves about, well, how are we going to handle this investigation? And like I said, after the show, every investigation we did, we sat around and we talked about our experiences during that investigation. Dee says, were they all strangers to one another in the beginning? Yes, Dee, they were. They did not know. Nobody knew nobody. They were all strangers. But by getting close to the end of the season, they were like one big happy family. No fighting amongst each others. And that they just did that awesome. They just did a great job. And to take people who never dealt with the paranormal before, never investigated before, and take them up to the 13th episode where they just knocked it out of the park. They were that good. Okay. Hi, okay. Heidi says, and did they become friends and stay in contact afterwards? No, Heidi, they didn't. They went all their separate ways. There's about two or three people that kind of like hang together, or they just talk on Facebook. But no, they don't contact nobody. I know one's out in California and LA. D, did any of them go on to form teams or continue to investigate? No, dear. None of them went on an investigation. None of them formed their own teams. Once that 13th episode was done, that was it. They just went their own ways. Now, I would take some of them on some of the investigations that I did. I'd just call them up and said, hey, we're going here. Do you want to come along? Do you want to come along? And usually they did. But right after Raw Fear was done, I wanted to continue shooting TV shows. So instead of Raw Fear, it became Paranormal Pittsburgh. And I have 3 episodes. In fact, I got a Gettysburg episode that I can show. Heidi says, oh, wow, I would have thought they would. Thank you, Sean. Oh, you're welcome. But I can show the Gettysburg because I do have that one. But we went on and we did some filming, and like I told you at the beginning, we were actually put on Fox at night. Again, it was expensive, and we could not, we only got to shoot like three shows. It's kind of disappointing. But you know what? Every now and then, they'll say hello to each other, or one of them will send me a message, and it goes from there. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, it is at over the 30-minute mark. I'm going to take a little 70-second break here, and I'll see you back in 70 seconds.
Tune in to UFO Undercover, Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, with your host, Joe Montaldo, right here on the Paranormal Radio Network.
Welcome to the Outer Realm with Michelle DeRoche and Amelia Pisano. Airing live on the United Public Radio Network, 105.3 FM in New Orleans.
Hi, I'm Brittany Ashley, your host of Breaking Norms Building Dreams, your guide through this transformative journey in both business and life. This is your place crafted for dreamers, doers, or anyone who has been told they can't. Get ready as we challenge those narratives together. You're tuning in live to the United Public Radio Network, airing on 105.3 and 107.7 FM in New Orleans. We are streaming on all the popular platforms every Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join me for a candid and thought-provoking conversation celebrating your unique journey because you are worth it.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to the second part of Into the Night with me, your host, Sean Kelly. I am on UPRN Talk Radio, 107.7 Mississippi, 105.3 New Orleans. We were talking about the TV show I had back out in 2012 called Raw Fear. Me and Marty Patterson put it together. And a little background, real quick. Me and Marty took 8 kids or young adults and who never investigated before. And we put it on TV as a TV show for 13 episodes. And it was great. I mean, it was good. And before we went into break, I was talking about the kids, how they reacted, how they did. And they turned out to be like, they grew up really quick. But what was really cool about it was they had a lot of respect for the paranormal after that. They had a lot of respect for the spirits and what they did on investigations, which I was kind of proud of, And as time went on, we used more equipment, and we really got the young adults into using the gift that they have, the empathic work, this, talking with the spirits, seeing the spirits with their eyes, using their sense of smell. And it was just like a 13-week course if I would have taught at Westmoreland Community College or somewhere like that. And they did great. But I have some news for you. I have been in contact with a couple of them, and I'm going to bring them on as guests for my show. And then you can ask them. D, you can't find Raw Fear online. Like I said, we had to pay for it, WPMY. Maybe if I can find more, I know I have them on my page. I do know that on the Pittsburgh Paranormal Society page under videos, if you want to see it. But like I spent an hour trying to find them, and then I just can't find them on my computer. I just can't find them. And I'm just like pulling up, because everything was put on a DVD. And so I had to take those DVDs and take it to a place where they put it on a flash drive. And I know for a fact that I downloaded that flash drive with all 13 episodes on it, and I cannot find them on my computer. But D, I am going to play one from Paranormal Pittsburgh this Tuesday. And Paranormal Pittsburgh is like the second part of Raw Fear. The kids that you will see at the Gettysburg Paranormal Pittsburgh are the ones that I had in Raw Fear. And it was a good show. We took them to Gettysburg for 2 days. And we filmed. And it turned out awesome. I hope so, Casey. I hope you check it out. I want everybody to check it out. Sam said something here. The woods. Yeah, vulnerability. Hell, I live in the city, Pittsburgh. And, I get vulnerable too, because there's a lot of crazy shit that happens in the city of Pittsburgh, Okay, check it out. Definitely will too. I'm glad you guys will. Please stop on by. It's 55 minutes long. There's going to be some commercials in there that the people who let us use their business as commercials no longer exist. So I'm trying to figure out how I can run it without the commercials, but I'm just going to run it straight through. So it's going to be interesting this Tuesday. That was a good 2-day investigation up there in Gettysburg. Really, really was. But I just want to say that If you are truly, truly wanting to learn to investigate the paranormal, you can do it. But the secret is you have to find the right group. You have to find the right teacher. You need to go and ask as many questions as you want. Some of them might not like that, but a good investigator who wants to teach people, ask them questions. But a lot of the people will definitely kind of answer them for no problem at all. And what's really cool about it, the majority of the groups out there, yes, they have egos, but when it comes down to where they want to teach and do the investigation, they will teach you. We got some stuff here too. The woods can be scary. Yes, they can, Sam. So can the city. Can be very scary too. And Heidi agrees with Sam and Dee about the vulnerabilities, and Heidi goes, no other intentions that are with you. Agreed. Oh, you don't. Oh, I tell you what, Heidi, I'm glad you brought that up. So we had a smart ass in the group. We really did, and he would provoke. And that was my number one rule. You do not provoke and you do not disrespect the spirits. You just don't do it. You want to be treated. They want to be treated like you want to be treated. Well, this guy didn't want to listen. And he caused a lot of shit. I had to let him go. That Monday, I went in, he came in, and I was like, you're gone. And then he threw a little temper tantrum and he left. He said, well, why am I gone? I said, because you disrespected not only the spirits, you disrespected me, you disrespected Raw Fear, and you disrespected these people who you were investigating with. And I said, get the hell out now. And he did. Heidi says, ever been in the ghetto in any major city, Sam? That's right. Pretty damn scary and shady and sketchy. Yes, it is. There you go. Heidi got it right. 22-21 the Bills over the Chiefs. I hope the Chiefs I hope they get spanked, to be honest with you. But back to the show on that. So what I plan on doing this again, but I don't plan on doing a 13-week episode. 13 episodes. I don't plan. This is too much. What my goal would be is to get a 2-hour show and put it out there on TV. Or put it on live TV here on the internet. People have said that you could do some pay-per-views. We could do a couple pay-per-view things. I don't want to make money. I don't. But in order to get it out there, I'm going to have to do something. Sam says, that'd be awesome, Sean. Yes. But instead of going with 8 people, I'm just going to go with 4. That's it. Couple cameras, and not what you see on TV. I'm going to be the first one to tell you when we do this show, and I know we're going to do this show. All right? It's not going to be with what you see on TV. It's going to be the basic tools of paranormal investigation. Video cameras, EVPs, K2 meters. That's all you need. That's all you need to do a good investigation. And your senses. Your empathic senses. That's where I thought. That's where I was taught. Let me see. Heidi says, make a wrong turn and badam, you could be there. Happened more than once to me. I've never intentionally went to the ghetto. No, me neither. No. Well, sometimes I did when I got sober first. My aftercare was up, up on the Hill District, and and it was ghetto. But I tell you what, if it wasn't for that ghetto, Heidi, I would not be sober today. That's all I can say. The people out there were awesome, and they saved my life. If they weren't there, then I don't think I'd be doing a show. To be honest with you. But I will say this, and I'm patting myself on the back. January 21st of this year, I celebrated 34 years of sobriety, and I'm not ashamed to say that. It's just like a mile, and it just keeps going. 34 years without a drink, 36 years without a drug. So, am I proud of myself? Yes. Do I have an ego about it? At one point in time, I did, but not no more. It's all about my higher power. It's all about spirit. It's all about everything. Everything. It's everything because I wanted to live again. It's crazy. My son's 34 years old and he has never seen me take a drink. And to me, that is the biggest thing I ever got out of getting sober. Was the love of my son. That was the biggest thing I got. That was the best reward ever for staying sober. Sam's watching your video later tonight. Did she find it? Oh, wow, cool. Thank you, Dee. I am. I am. And this is my best life, and things can only get better. And they do. And sometimes they don't. But this Tuesday night, I am going to put on a show, the video, Paranormal Pittsburgh, and the young adults who were on Raw Fair, they will be in Gettysburg. And I hope you can come by and watch it. Thank you, Sam. And I hope you guys stop by and watch the show. And then more than likely I won't be able to talk during this. Well, maybe I can do some commentary when I put this on. But like I said, it's 55 minutes and I only got like 52 minutes to spare, so might have to cut it out at the end. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But it is close to closing time. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir, it is. I want to thank everybody for stopping in tonight into the chat. It is so good to see all the wonderful, beautiful people, my angels, as I call them, come into the chat room. And just like I keep telling you guys, ladies and gents, that you make my heart flutter. And I know that I'm in a safe place right now for this 1 hour. And the 1 hour on Tuesday nights, I'm safe. Because I got you all people watching my back. Let's see. Love that, Sean. My kids have done a lot for me in that respect. Thank you. Yeah. I love that. And I love all of y'all. I really do. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Me too. Part 1 halfway and chat about it. Part 2 the next Tuesday when chat happens. Yeah, I like that idea. Thank you, Dee. I appreciate that. Dee got a good point. I like that. Yeah, we can do that. That'd be good. Oh, my. Thank you, dear. I appreciate it. Man, like I said, I got my angels in here who people watch my back. But children, if you can, please go to your parents, give them a hug, and tell them that you love them. And parents, please go to your children, give them a hug, and tell them that you love them. If you have no parents, And if you have no children, find somebody and give them a hug and tell them that you love them. Because those 3 words, I love you, go a long way. And on that note, good night, everybody, and see you Tuesday night. Good night.